This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
And happy Saturday morning. This is the Dr. Sem Yankees Show. We come to you every single Saturday morning at 7 a.m. We are about as reliable as Lou Gehrig. The only difference was he played every day, and, well, I come to you only once a week. But I haven't missed a Saturday since we started this program. And this has required me oftentimes to have to record a day or sometimes even a week in advance. But that's the dedication that we bring to you. Hey, let's make today a great day. Remember, you have the ability to make today great. Yesterday might have been the worst day ever. And for some of you, it probably was. But yesterday's gone. It's over. And all we have is today and each of the days that come after today. And it makes sense then to work real hard to make today a great day. And the way to do that, the way to make today great, or there's many ways, but probably the simplest, is to look for the good. And I know that's hard sometimes. I know it's nary impossible sometimes. But there is good. There's good everywhere. There's good in abundance in so many ways. But, as we say every week, if you can't find any, you can create some. And then there is good. And then not only can you find the good because you're creating it, but you're also part of it. And then use that good to help propel yourself forward, to make today a great day, not just for you, but for the people around you, for the people who know you, and even better, for the people who don't know you. Great stuff. Hey, this is the first Saturday of the rest of our lives as far as being a Yankees fan is concerned. The season is now over. The Yankees kept their, what I consider, meaningless or virtually meaningless, to give them a little bit of credit, over 500 record for many years consecutively alive. They did it by ending with a record of 82-80. They kept the record alive. In order to do that, they played Aaron Judge an awful lot over the season's final weeks, a guy who was injured. We're not quite sure how that foot is. He didn't necessarily perform all that well once he came back to the lineup, but they brought him out there game after game after game. Now, let me ask you something, because people are making a big deal about the streak. Another year, the Yankees haven't had a losing streak since 1852. The Yankees haven't had a losing streak since before Columbus first arrived in America. The Yankees have had an over 500 record since the Middle Ages, since Charlemagne was named Holy Roman Emperor or whatever. I mean, all right, it's nice. It's great that the Yankees are always winners, but they're not big winners. They haven't won a World Series since 2009. But again, I'm not even going to go there. If the goal is to keep that streak alive, and in order to do that, you have to play compromised players or players who might be compromised, is that streak worth it? I can understand going out there and getting them and playing your hardest if it's a big game, if it's a big series, if it's the playoffs or the playoffs that are involved. You know, that's what athletes do. But to go all out, to keep a meaningless streak alive, That I don't get. And there was all that logic. Why is Aaron Judge playing every day? Well, the Yankees need to win, or the Yankees need to owe it, or the Yankees owe it to their fans, or Aaron Judge owes it to his fans to show up every day. I get that stuff. I can buy some of that. But then what happens in game 162? Judge sits. Now, please explain that to me. The Yankees owe it to their fans. Judge owes it to his fans to always be in the lineup. So what about the people who paid money to go to the final game of the season and then Judge sits? What, does he need the rest? He's too tired in game 162. He played in game 161. Now he's too tired. He has the next 97,000 months off till spring training. He can't play game 162. He owes it to the fans. He's a gamer. He's always out there. You know, there's the story about Joe DiMaggio hustling in a game that didn't matter late in the season after the Yankees had already clinched another first-place season, and he rushes deep into Death Valley majestically and gracefully, as DiMaggio always played. And he makes this catch on a long fly ball in a meaningless game, by and large. And he gets back to the dugout, and one of his teammates says, "Joe, why are you trying so hard?" And he said, "I owe it to the fans. There may be a kid out there seeing me for the first time or the last time, and I owe it to that kid to be my best." I think that's great. And I think that's what Judge was sort of emulating until the last game of the season, when I guess it didn't matter anymore. People paid big bucks for the last game of the season. That's okay. Today you won't see me. I need to rest. It's not like I'm going to have tomorrow off and next week off and the next few months off. This one's just a little too tiring for me. I think I can't handle game 162. I don't get it. I just, some of the nonsense that we hear in sports reporting and from teams and from reporters and in papers, it's just nonsense. There was no reason for Judge to be playing if he was even slightly hurt. No win in a lost season, really no win anyway, but no win, especially in a lost season, is worth jeopardizing the health of your star player, or really any player. If a guy's hurt, sit him. I don't get it. But to have a guy who is compromised and who hasn't really performed up to his traditional levels over the whole time since you brought him back from an injury that kept him out of the lineup for months on end, to then play basically every single day and then sit the last day of the season? Come on. At least show up, right? I mean, he was there in the dugout, but get out on the field. Give the fans something, the kid who might be seeing you for the first time or the last time. I'm sure there were fans at the stadium who paid money to sit in the right field area so they could get a close-up of Aaron Judge. So they could say, "I saw Aaron Judge play. He plays all the time. Why would you sit the last game?" Well, I guess he was tired. And he has no time whatsoever to rest up before spring training. Unbelievable. So I don't really buy the 500 record, 100,000 years in a row thing as something that the Yankees should celebrate. Have you noticed how the goal has moved? It used to be, celebrate us. We are the Yankees. We have won more World Series than any other team in the history of professional sports. No team anywhere wins like we do. We're the best. Used to be, we're going to try to be that best, and we're going to do everything we can to be that team. We've won 27 World Series. Number 28 can't be far behind. Remember that? Then it became, after the Yankees stopped winning World Series, well, we make the postseason almost every single year. You've got to celebrate us. No, we're not coming in first place every year. Sometimes we're the wild card, but we're the team that's in the playoffs every year. No other team's in the playoffs as much as we are. We are in the postseason, and anything can happen in the postseason. You never know. Even though we're not the best team in the postseason, we just might win. Anything can happen. It's funny. That's usually the excuse when the good team loses. Hey, anything can happen. For the last many years, the Yankees have used that as their philosophy to try to win. Hey, we might upset the teams that are better than us. Anything can happen, even though it hasn't. But then, now they're not in the playoffs. So it's not, we're going to win the pennant, we're going to win the World Series. It's, we're going to make the playoffs. And then, nope, not that. Celebrate us. We had an 82-80 record, and we're over 500 again. We've been over 500 for so long. Celebrate that. Go to the stadium the next time you're there and go to the gift shops or go online and look at the Yankees merchandise. You'll see things that say 27 world championships. You'll see jackets with all the world championship patches all over it. You'll see hats that say winner and 27, and some of them have all the years the Yankees have won. Their shirts that have all the years they've won listed on the front or the back or on the sleeves. I've never, ever seen a piece of merchandise sold by the Yankees or any other team that said, no one wins as often as we do. We're the team that's better than 500. Because nobody cares. It's a fake thing that they discovered a couple of years ago. We haven't had a losing season in such a long time, but nobody was celebrating that. In 1998, when the Yankees had that great record, they said, we now have to win the World Series, or else this great season goes for naught. They didn't say, we've won a lot of games. We're 1 million games over 500. So who cares about the playoffs and the World Series? We had another 500 plus record. It's a success. No. When the Yankees lost in the playoffs in 1997, after winning the World Series in 1996, they didn't get on the airplane and go, it was another 500 or better season. We made the playoffs. No, they said we lost. We're losers. When the Red Sox beat the Yankees in 2004, they didn't go, well, we did make the playoffs and we had another year. It's our 12th in a row of being over 500. No, they went, we lost. That's bad. It's only in recent years, it's really the last two that the Yankees have been going like, we get over 500 all the time. It's really nothing to celebrate. It's cute. It's adorable. I don't know what it is, but it's not something that the Yankees should be celebrating. Hey, you have to go to Start Spreading the News. It is the absolute greatest, most wonderful Yankee site in the entire world. I believe that to be true because I invest a ton of time in trying to make it the greatest, most wonderful Yankee site in all of the world. This winter, we're putting out articles every single day at 6 a.m., 10 a.m., and 2 p.m. And today, Saturday, you need to check out my 10 o'clock article. My 10 o'clock article is earth-shattering. It's wonderful. It's extremely well written, I guess. I hope you understand when I'm being a little bit fun, right? But anyway, I think it is brilliant. I make the points of what the Yankees need to do in order to become winners again. And I make a big point, and I'm going to keep coming back to this one, and I think I'm going to write about it again and again and again, because I'm the only one who's saying this primarily, I think exclusively. I haven't heard anyone else say it. The Yankees are spending all this time this off season right now looking at the analytics. What analytics can we use to figure out how to make our team winners again? And I get it. There's a place for analytics in baseball. You can't play baseball at a professional level and not keep statistics and notice trends and try to figure things out. I get all that. And there's room for all that. And I understand how people say, batting average doesn't really matter. There are other things that matter more than batting average. How about batting average of balls in play? How about launch angle? How about exit velocity? I think the Yankees have gotten lost in the advanced stats, and they've ignored the simple and easy and most logical ones. You know what you need in order to be a successful team? You need batters who can hit and who can get on base. When you look at all the advanced statistics that have come out the last 10, 15, 25 years, they're fun. I use them all the time. But when you look at those statistics, look at who the top players usually are. Babe Ruth, Ted Williams, Ty Cobb, Stan Musial, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Lou Gehrig. You know what they all had in common? They were great hitters. None of those guys were looking for launch angle. None of those guys were looking at exit velocity. None of their managers were saying, this is how you can get a few more miles per hour off the balls that come off your bat. No. They were simply great hitters. They were 300 hitters. Think about that. They were primarily great hitters. And because they were great hitters, other great things happened as a result of them being great hitters. First, they were guys who could hit the ball consistently and get base hits. That's what they did. That was their first skill. If Babe Ruth was hitting 200, he wouldn't have had the chance to hit 714 home runs. Understand that fact. He was at first a great hitter. His lifetime batting average was like 344. Might be 345. Again, I do a lot of this from memory. I'm not looking at stats. I'm talking to you. Babe Ruth was at first. His first skill was being a great hitter. Then later on, all these advanced statistics come out, and they use those statistics to look back historically at the great players. And guess what? They find that the great hitters were also great at all those other advanced statistics. And whichever one you come up with, those great hitters who were 300 hitters to start, that was their first skill, are also at the tops of all those leaderboards. Why is that? Because they were great hitters. So I have this great article coming at 10 a.m. today on Start Spreading the News. But here's the simple, easy answer. Here's the simple, easy answer to just one of my great ideas, but the one I'm teasing right now. Instead of having a team that has players with super launch angles or who try to hit the ball hard every time it's pitched, who have great exit velocity, just get guys who have high batting averages. Start there and build from there. Do you know what's going to happen? You're going to find out that you have a team that wins. It's amazing. As people have tried so hard to figure out how to build a better team and to come up with all sorts of fancy statistics, instead of focusing on the thing that made the great players have the great advanced statistics. They're trying to make players who have the advanced statistics that look great without being great. No one is saying that. I'm saying that. You heard it here first. And I've said this before a couple times, and I'm putting it at the bottom of my articles. We write stuff on Start Spreading the News. And we're the first to write it because we're very original and we have great writers. And our writers are deep thinkers. And then you're driving in the car and you're listening to the radio or a podcast, and all of a sudden, somebody makes the exact same point in an article that we had written that day or a day before or recently. Or you're reading the paper, or you're looking at a blog, and you go, wait, we just said that 2 days ago on Start Spreading the News. But instead of them saying, I saw this on this great site, or I heard this on a great podcast from Start Spreading the News, or Paul Semendinger wrote this, or Mike Whiteman, or Andy Singer, or Ed Body, or Tim Cable, or Carrie Green, or any of our writers. I don't want to leave anybody out. They all wrote, that person wrote this great point that I saw on Start Spreading the News. They just say, here's a thought. What do you think of this? Or they write it as if they're the first to ever say it. So I keep putting on my articles, like, that's okay. This is what we do. Take the idea, borrow it. We don't own it. I said it first here. Don't ignore guys who can hit 300. That's what you need to do. Maybe others have said it. I don't believe they have. But if you now take that idea and say, you know what, that's a pretty good idea. Let me expand upon it. At least give credit where you heard it first. Say, I saw this on Start Spreading the News. It was a good point. You ought to check out that website, because I do. I mean, wasn't that one of the first lessons we learned when we were first learning how to write when we were in school? Give credit to your sources. That's what we need to do. So give credit. It's not that hard. But sometimes with teams, to change the subject, they try so hard to ignore the reality of, let's just have a 300 hitter, that they're looking so hard to try to find some analytic variant that they can use to make them win. They come up with these crazy ideas that actually go against them winning. We all saw what happened with Billy Beane. They called his great idea Moneyball. And then Michael Lewis wrote a book about it. And he got a lot more famous. People started talking about him. And then they made a movie about it. And I believe he was played by Brad Pitt. Hey, who wouldn't want to be played by Brad Pitt? Same thing sort of happened in the 70s, with Watergate. And then all of a sudden, Woodward and Bernstein wrote All the President's Men. And everyone was talking about it. And then they made a movie about it. And they were played by Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford. Well, who wouldn't want to be played by Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford? So I think part of it is guys are like, well, if I can figure out the next great thing, maybe they'll write a book and make a movie about me. Maybe the next great Hollywood actor will play me in a movie. I want to be the smartest guy in the world. I want to be the smartest guy in the room. I want them to name something after me. But as they go tilting at windmills or trying to grasp something that's ungraspable, they ignore the reality. Want to win? Get guys who can hit. How do you measure if a guy can hit? The first step. Let's see if he can hit 300. If he can do that, I'll bet you he can also do other things. Babe Ruth was known to have said, I believe, I could lead the league in hitting whenever I want, but I'd have to sacrifice home runs. And Wade Boggs and Ichiro, and I believe Tony Gwynn all said the exact opposite. I can hit more home runs, but I'd have to sacrifice a bit of my batting average. The common denominator is they were all exceptional hitters. They could all hit well over 300. Some made the decision to keep the batting average higher. Babe Ruth and others made the decision to sacrifice some of that batting average for power. In fact, Dave Winfield said that one year. And then he went out and almost led the league in hitting till the final day with that famous batting race with teammate Don Mattingly. He said, oh, sure, I can hit for a higher average. I just sacrificed some power. And he did. But what's the point? Even though I don't think Winfield had a 300 lifetime batting average, the point was he was that type of hitter that he could do that. And all those other guys were that type of hitter. Want to win? Have guys who can hit. Again, this isn't rocket science. You know, I never have enough time to go over everything I want to. I'm going to give you a little tease. There's a book coming out in November from a dear friend of mine. It is called The Bat Boy and the Unbreakable Record. It's by the great Rob Skeed. It's a kid's book. I have an advanced copy in my hand. Just got it today. It comes out in November. There's a special event at the Wyckoff, New Jersey Library in early November. I believe November 1st or 2nd. If you go on the library website, you can pre-register to be part of the great event talking about Johnny Vandermeer and his double no-hit game. Now, Rob Skeed and I both have an affinity for Johnny Vandermeer because Johnny Vandermeer's hometown, Midland Park, New Jersey, is right here. I grew up in Midland Park, New Jersey. I played baseball on Johnny Vandermeer Field. Johnny Vandermeer is a player who's often forgotten about, except they mention him whenever somebody throws a no-hitter, and they say if he can do it again, he'll be the next person to throw back-to-back no-hitters, because the only guy who ever did it was Johnny Vandermeer. And now there's a great new kids book about Johnny Vandermeer's back-to-back no-hitters. It's pretty awesome. It's a tease because the book doesn't come out till November, but when it does, it's well worth getting. All right, my friends, we're just about at the bottom of the hour. I have so many more things to talk about, so many more ideas. I jot them down and I say, all right, we're going to get to these things. And then the half hour goes much too quickly. Maybe I have to talk to the great Mac, who runs the Northeast Streaming Sports Network, and tell him that the Dr. Sem Show needs to be 4 hours long. Might be a good idea. I don't think so. As much as I love it, I don't think I have 4 hours for a podcast in addition to everything else I'm doing. Hey, don't forget to stay tuned. If you're watching this live on a Saturday morning, in just 30 minutes at 8 a.m., we have the great Saturday debate show. I'll be there. Mac and Jack will be there. Jamie Pags, the Philadelphia sports guy, is usually there. Always great topics. We always have a lot to talk about. There's great banter. It's a fun show. It's a lot of laughing, a lot of smiling. It's a bit less serious than this, and it's all fun, and it's all great. Thank you for watching. Make today great. I will be back again Monday night, 9 p.m. for the Start Spreading the News podcast with the great E.J. Fagan. Hopefully he sees the article that's coming out today on Start Spreading the News at 10 a.m., where I list all the ways the Yankees can get better, all the things they've been ignoring. And if they followed my formula, they'd be winners again real quickly. And if they do follow my formula, I think the Yankees should at least call me up and bring me in and have me advising the rest of the front office because, well, I think I know the answers better than many of they do. And that's a shame because they should know better, not me. Have a great day.